Welcome to the results section on the Montana Early Warning System. In this lesson, we'll show you a student detail report, how to read it, and what everything in the report means. If you have any questions or concerns about the Montana Early Warning System, please contact Eric Meredith at 406-444-3642 or email at emeredith@mt.gov. There are 3 reports available in the EWS: the school report, student summary report, and the student detail report. Each one is designed a little differently and for a specific purpose. The 3 reports are on separate web pages and with the EWS overview page make up the EWS in GEMS. This lesson will focus on explaining the student detail report and what information is available in that report. The student detail report is designed to allow you to look into the specifics of each individual student. Each student that is enrolled in your school and that you have uploaded EWS data into will have a student detail report available. This report is designed as a one-page report to show that students' risk status for dropping out, including giving reasons why the student may drop out. In this report, you will find each student dropout probability up to the last 12 times data has been uploaded into GEMS for that student. You will also be able to see the grades, attendance, behavior, and mobility risk factors and how they have changed over time. Each variable that has been uploaded during the most recent data upload will also be displayed on this report. The raw data is made available so that you can check to ensure the system has the correct data for that student. This is especially important if you are surprised by the EWS results for that student. The risk factors for attendance, grades, behavior, and mobility are all odds ratios calculated from the logistic regression model the EWS is based on. In Figure 11, the student has an attendance risk factor of 2.28. The interpretation of this number can be stated as, based on grades alone, the odds of this student dropping out is 2.28 times the odds of an average student, with all other factors held constant. We will now log into the early warning system to show where the student detail report is and how the report works. Remember that you need a GEMS secure login and password along with access to the EWS in order to access the report. You also need data uploaded into the system to see the report. The good news here is even if you have not uploaded data into the system for your school, chances are at least one student in your school was at a school in the past that has uploaded data. Any student that previously was in a school that uploaded data and is now enrolled in your school, you will be able to see the results for. This is useful for schools that want to see what the reports are like and how the EWS works before they upload data for their entire school. From your GEMS homepage, go ahead and log into the secure site. Once you are logged in, click on Data and then Student Characteristics. Click on Menu at the left edge of the page. Go to the Early Warning System and click on that. A list of the 4 pages available in the Early Warning System will come up. Click on the third one in the list, the Student Detail Report. On the Student Detail Report page, you will see a dashboard near the top of the screen with a drop-down menu. From the drop-down menu, select a student. The students are arranged in alphabetical order according to their first name. After selecting the student you wish to see, click on the View Report button. The student detail report for that student will then load after a few seconds. Before we get into all the data aspects of this report, first we need to cover the report dashboard and its capabilities. This is the area just below the drop-down menu. At the far left is the ability to move to the other pages of the report. This feature is not needed in the student detail report since this report is designed as a one-page report. The important parts to know about the dashboard is it allows you to save or print the report. If you click on the disk icon, there are several different formats the report can be saved as. For this report, it is recommended that you use the PDF or Word document format. Once the file is saved or printed, it can be shared with colleagues through email or other ways. Remember to save these reports in a secure location, as they do contain student-level data. To print the report, click on the printer icon. First, across the top of the student detail report is the student's name, state ID number, and their risk status, low risk, at risk, or extreme risk. The color of the box showing their risk status will change depending on their risk, with it being white for low risk, light red for at risk, and dark red for extreme risk. On the left below the student name is a list of variables. This list of variables shows the data used in the EWS calculations for this student. This is provided for reference when looking at the student's EWS results. Any variables in red font are variables that data is missing for that particular student. In this student's report, you can see an example where the counts of the previous term F's and previous term A's are missing. The EWS replaces any missing data with the state average. So, for this student, the state average were used for the number of previous term A's and F's. In the middle of the student detail report, just below the state ID is the student's dropout probability. This is the percentage chance this student has of dropping out before they graduate. A student's risk status is determined by this percentage. If it's greater than 40%, then they are extreme risk. If it's between 15% and 40%, then they are at risk. And anything below 15% is considered low risk. In this example, you can see the student has an asterisk next to their percentage. This asterisk is placed because the student is missing a piece of data that is used in the EWS model to determine their percentage. In this case, the student is missing the previous term F's and previous term A's. Also, you'll see an exclamation point next to the percentage. The exclamation point signifies that this student is either at risk or extreme risk of dropping out. Below the dropout probability is a table indicating the risk factors has for dropping out. There are a total of 7 risk factors listed here. The top 3, older student, off track, and previous dropouts, are simply a Y for yes and an N for no. It is considered a risk factor if the student has a Y for any of these. Below that are the attendance, grades, behavior, and mobility risk factors. These are considered a risk factor if the risk factor is 1.25 or higher. Any risk factor that is flagged will be in red font and have an exclamation point next to it. At the top right of the student detail report is the dropout probability summary. The summary shows the historical EWS results in order by date with the most recent results at the top. If more than 12 EWS results are available for a student, only the previous 12 will be shown here and in all graphs on the student detail report. In this table is a column titled Change. It displays arrows of various colors and direction to graphically display if a change was found in the EWS result compared to the previous EWS result. A red straight up arrow means that the percent increased by 5% or more. A green straight arrow down means the percent decreased by 5% or more. Yellow arrows mean the change was between 1 and 5% in the direction of the arrow, and no arrow means the change was less than 1%. All graphs on the student detail report will show the past 12 EWS results, if available, with the most recent value at the far right. The topmost graph displays the dropout probability history, while the other graphs display each one of the risk factors: attendance, grades, behavior, and mobility. As shown in the demonstration, the student detail report has a list of all the variables that go into the EWS model. This slide shows the variables that are already in GEMS that the user doesn't need to upload. Most of the variables are self-explanatory, but there are a few to take note of. The first one is the age difference. This variable only has 3 possible results: N, over 1, and over 2 up. N means the student is the normal age or younger for their grade. Over 1 designates that the student is 1 year older than is normal for that grade. Over 2 up means the student is 2 or more years older than is normal for their grade. The age difference variable uses the student's age on July 15th before the beginning of the school year to determine if the student is older or not. Moved this school year is a Y or N question depending on if the student has changed schools at any time during this school year. Moved from out of state is a yes or a no question, depending if the student has ever moved into the Montana from another state. More than 2 school systems attended is also a yes or no question. That depends on if the student has attended schools in more than 2 school systems. School systems are usually towns. It does not count if the student moves from one school to another in the same district or system. The last variable only applies to high school students and is the number of years the student has been in high school. This number is used to determine which EWS model the student should be placed in. That concludes this lesson on the Student Detail Report in the EWS. This slide shows the remaining lessons, including the next one in the series, Making Sense of the Results, Student Summary Report.